Again, there is a time cap of 20 minutes. Let's get a look at our lane lineup here. You see Steve King there in lane number 5. Our leader, Chris Musgrave, in lane 10. Ron Ortiz in lane number 8. In lane number 11, we see Christopher Stamper, who is in second place. Lane number 12, you see Mike Egan. And that is Ortiz, who is in 5th after day 1 of the competition. What did you see from him yesterday, Justin?
Well, I saw a gritty performance. Here's a guy that won the Masters competition, the 2016 games and the 2013 games. So I know he wants to get back up on top of that leaderboard and win this one this year. But it was a gritty performance. He did a good job. I want to see how he answers with something that's a little longer of an event today.
And this is Musgrave. Again, we're keeping our eye on him here. Event number 1, day 2, men's 50-54.
Yeah, and I think that this is an event that plays well to Cliff Musgrave's strengths. Yesterday, he had that hot day. He had 3 finishes in the top 4. Helped him jump up to the top of the leaderboard. But I think that this is an event that he could do really, really well on.
Starting off with a 300-meter run before they make their way back to the rope climb.
Yeah, expect this run to go fast on this first round. I really think that the run is not what's going to be the run is not what's going to help an athlete win this event. It's going to be a part where they're going to kind of in between rope climbs and carrying that yoke. They're going to kind of actively recover. They're going to be shaking out the arms, maybe shaking out the legs a little bit, stretching those legs out, opening up the lungs a little bit. But I don't think that this event will really be won on the run.
Just about a minute into this event, 20-minute cap. After this 300-meter run is complete, they will have 4 rope climbs to get into. After that, they'll be on to the yoke carry.
And I think that this is where an athlete will separate himself from the rest of the pack. It's going to be on this rope climb. How fast can they attack it? How efficient are they on the rope climb? Can they turn it into something that is not so much an upper body exercise as it is a leg exercise? And by doing that, they've got to be efficient, and they've got to have no hesitation in between reps, in between rope climbs, and no hesitation after they come off of that run.
Good look at Ames there on the left of your screen in the dark top. Again, 4 rope climbs to start off with.
You see Ron Ortiz, no shirt, white shorts on the right-hand side of your screen. He's a much taller athlete, so theoretically he could take big chunks on that rope climb and not have to have as many pulls on that rope climb as, say, a shorter athlete. And I think 380 pounds on this yoke, not going to be a problem for Ron Ortiz. He's such a strong athlete, tons of core strength. So, yeah, you're seeing him running that yoke all the way down.
It looks like Ortiz is in second right now. Ortiz shirtless there, making your way left to right across your screen. And Musgrave, our overall leader, off to a strong start here in event number 4, day 2 of the competition here at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. And there's Musgrave towards the bottom of your screen. He is in the lead.
Still a pretty fast pace, and you would expect that. It's only 300 meters. These athletes, day in and day out in their training, typically they'll have a 400-meter run, an 800-meter run, and so this is kind of like a little bit of a gift for them to not have to run quite as far as a normal everyday training workout.
Again, Musgrave, you just saw him make his way through the corridor and back into the stadium. He is in the lead. He is followed by Ron Ortiz. They are 1-2 at the moment. And for a little bit more on their friendly rivalry, maybe a little bit more, let's go down to Nick Zielinski on the competition floor.
Hey guys, watching Musgrave versus Ortiz here in the 50 to 54 age group. Justin, you touched on this a little bit, this being a strong event for Musgrave. As we can see, he's running very well. He's doing very well in the rope climbs. But between these two athletes, you have Ron Ortiz, the ageless wonder Ron Ortiz, who's the tallest athlete in the field. And then you got Cliff Musgrave, listed as the shortest athlete in the field. Maybe this is a question for you, Justin. What's the better benefit there? Ortiz being the taller guy in rope climbs, or Musgrave being shorter, the faster runner? What's going to benefit these guys more as they finish off this event?
Well, theoretically, a taller athlete is going to have to not have as many pulls on that rope if they're as efficient as comparably to each other. However, Musgrave is a lighter athlete, and he's quicker on those poles. And so you see how Musgrave was just a little bit more efficient. He's still getting his feet as close to his hands as he can and still taking big chunks. Each chunk is not as big as a taller athlete, though.
And watching both those guys right there, I was looking at Ron Ortiz, obviously being the big athlete that he is, he's got the bigger pulls, but he's also pulling a lot more weight up that rope. And Musgrave, very efficient up to the top of that rope and on the way down.
Exactly.
So we see Musgrave still in the lead, followed by Ortiz, shirtless, making his way left to right across your screen. Now Ortiz there at the bottom of your screen, and you see Musgrave at the top.
So you see Ron Ortiz start to shake out those arms. And obviously on the run, Musgraves has an advantage over Ron Ortiz. You saw him on that last run. He actually extended his lead a little bit more over Ron Ortiz.
Again, this is our overall leader after day number 1, Cliff Musgrave. And giving chase is Ron Ortiz, who is sitting in 5th after day number 1. Coming up on the 6-minute mark, there is a 20-minute cap here. The event is the rope and yoke. It is event number 4 for the 50-54 division here, and the first of day number 2. This is Marco Casali we're getting a look at now. He was 12th after day number 1.
Yeah, and Ted, we haven't really talked much about carrying that yoke. It's 380 pounds. The thing that you want to do is use a lot of core stabilization. In fact, I think that it's a lot more core taxing than you would think as you look at it on paper. But the last thing that you want to have happen is you don't want that yoke to start swinging. If it does, so you want to take short, choppy steps, but if it starts swinging, man, it can get away from you really, really fast, and you have to set it down and reset, and that takes valuable seconds.
So we see Musgrave followed by Ortiz, 1 and 2 right now. Ortiz on the left, Musgrave on the right.
So 2 rope climbs, Musgrave on the right, he's got gloves. Ortiz on the left, going without gloves. Both guys really efficient on this rope climb, but Musgrave's just a little bit quicker on those poles. Trying to get his feet as close to his hands as he possibly can. Yeah, he went through those in short order, Ted.
Looks like Ortiz starting to tighten a little bit up on the left of your screen as Musgrave makes his way back out to the yoke carry.
Yeah, and you're seeing with Ortiz, with that fatigue setting in, he's not being able to raise his feet as high up as he was at the very, very beginning.
This is Ortiz, he's in 2nd, followed by O.C. Leavitt. He was in 3rd after day number 1. Musgrave there working his way towards the right of your screen. He's our leader, both in event number 4 here and overall. There's Ortiz again. He's in 2nd, 5th overall after day number 1.
Yeah, nobody's going to catch Musgraves now. He is off for the races.
This is Stamper, middle of your screen. He was in 2nd after day number 1 of the competition.
Yeah, he had that 2nd place finish on event number 2 yesterday. Really came in looking like he'd done the things that he needed to in the off season. But he is taking a lot of time in between rope climbs, and that's what we were talking about at the beginning of this event. You can't have any hesitation on those rope climbs. You've got to almost go before you're ready.
Stamper is a former Navy helicopter pilot, now works for the Air Force as a professor of military science. There's Musgrave, he's in the lead, making his way back for one final rope climb, and then one more yoke carry. And looks like Ortiz had been overtaken there for a second. But Musgrave is our leader and looking strong as he makes his way back to the ropes.
One thing that I've been impressed with by Cliff Musgrave on these rope climbs is that he's been really consistent. And what I mean by that is that the last rope climb that he just completed, and this one too, looks just like the very, very first rope climb that he completed. So look how fast he is on those poles and how high he's getting his feet up. He's taking as big of chunks as his body will allow, and that is good technique on the rope climb.
Musgrave in the lead and coming on to his final yoke carry, looking to take event number 4 here. Day 2 of competition for the Masters Men 50 to 54 division here at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. So Musgrave holding on and takes event number 4, rope and yoke.
Then it looked like O.C. Levitt was not too far behind, or Mike Egan.
Levitt coming in there in the white headband towards the left of your screen. You see Ortiz now shirtless. He's coming in.
So those later rope climbs, and I think the run, it just kind of added up to a lot of fatigue for Ron Ortiz. But Musgrave yesterday had a second place finish, was his highest finish. So today, jumping out to doing exactly what he needed to do to stay on top of that leaderboard.
There's Egan, who came in second, just about 2 seconds behind Musgrave. See Don Walmsley coming in there in lane number 7, as well as Jeff Dempsey.
Yeah, Mike Egan kind of snuck in there at the very, very end. I think he did it at the last part of that run, and that last rope climb was able to pull ahead of Ron Ortiz.
He was 4th in this age group in 2017, was Egan.
He doesn't even look like he's breathing too hard or sweating too much. It looks like he could do another round.
12 minutes gone by, 20-minute cap. Crosby, he was 10th overall after day number 1, as we see Ames come in as well. There's Lima. He was 13th after day number 1.
Marco Casale is in, yeah.
And Stamper still out there again, second after day number 1, but he's had some trouble, and it looked like those rope climbs from what we could see, Justin.
Yeah, he was really pausing for a long time in between rope climbs. And I'm a little surprised. I thought that he would have done better on this event. But you can tell that all the work that these athletes did yesterday, I mean, they had 3 events yesterday. It all takes its toll coming into day number 2 here.
John Kim coming in. He was 15th after day 1. Montgomery we're getting a look at now. 18th after day number 1. And Montgomery is in.
Looks like Bruce Briggs on his final yoke carry, 380 pounds.
So Briggs moving right to left on your screen.
And you can tell that core is getting blasted. He's losing a little bit of stability there. Still has a smile on his face as he crosses the finish line.
So plenty of time to spare for the field. 20-minute cap at about 5 minutes and change. And there is our event winner and overall leader, Cliff Musgrave. Egan was in second. He had a strong finish coming up on Ortiz and Leavitt. But again, Musgrave was our event winner and our overall leader.
Jumping out to a fast run on this first round. See several athletes jockeying for position, but really it was Cliff Musgrave and his rope climbs that allowed him to jump out to the lead. So efficient, a strong and steady Ron Ortiz. He carries out 380 pounds for 44 feet, and Musgrave's finishing just ahead of Mike Egan for a first place finish here in event number 4 for Cliff Musgrave.
And now let's send it down to the floor with our very own Nick Zielinski.
Cliff Musgrave, come on in here. Let's get this winner interview. You're no stranger to competition. An event win, another top 4 finish. What were your expectations coming into this weekend?
Coming into this week, to have fun, enjoy the experience. It's again, it's my 3rd time here, and everybody here is good. So you just never know how the workout's going to shake out, who's going to be healthy. I'm just thankful, happy to be here.
You're doing well out there. You're a lieutenant in the Akron Fire Department, correct? Want to know how that experience there plays into something like this?
Well, I think it's imperative for us to stay fit. It's part of my job. I feel it's part of my job. I take it seriously. I owe it not only to the guy sitting next to me in the fire truck, but to the citizens of Akron, who ultimately I'm there for. So
Well, I think you're doing a good job staying in shape. Cliff Musgrave, congratulations.
appreciate it. Thanks for your time, guys.
Well, Justin, he said he was having fun. And we saw that yesterday inside the arena, slapping 5 with fans, people watching. So he's continuing that here in day number 2 as we see him at the top of event number 4, 10:27 ahead of Mike Egan, O.C. Leavitt, and Ron Ortiz. So for Musgrave now, he's had a very strong start. I mean, does he feel the pressure to maintain and go all out and win each event, or can he take his foot off the gas a little bit?
Well, the nice thing about this is you don't have to knock every single event out of the park, right? You just have to have really good finishes. And as long as he's doing what he said in his interview, having fun, having a great performance, if he continues his role of having top 4 finishes, he's going to be the champion at the end of this competition.
All right, we've got more action coming up next. This is the action right next door at Vendor Pavilion with the top brands in CrossFit showing off all their latest and greatest. And it is quite a scene as people rush about trying to get some codes, maybe a discount. And then for those that don't want to miss a minute of the action, here at the Alliant Energy Center, they're camping out and ready to get here into North Park, where we've got a men's event number 4, the rope and yoke for the 55-59 age group here. I'm Ted Ramey alongside Justin Judkins. We've got Nick Zielinski on the floor. Let's take a look at the standings after day number 1 of the competition. And we see Stuart Swanson right there at the top with Will Powell hot on his heels.
Yeah, only 4 points separate the two, and it was Stewart's second place finish yesterday that helped him get ahead of Will Powell.
We also see Brig Edwards in 6th, Curtis Dunn in 7th. Rope and yoke event number 4, Justin, what are we looking at?
Well, these athletes are going to be taking on 4 rounds. Each round will consist of 300-meter run, 4 rope climbs, and a 44-foot yoke carry. Then each round, the number of rope climbs will decrease in number by 1 repetition.
And there is a 20-minute time cap on the event. Taking a look at our lane assignments, we've got Stuart Swanson in lane number 10. Also keep an eye on Ken Eidler and 8, Jeffrey Christie in lane number 9. Of course, there are roughly 20 competitors here, so we've got more for you. Will Powell, of course, he's one to watch in lane number 11. Brig Edwards in 13. Brian Keegan in lane number 18.
And I think that this is an event that Will Powell will do really well at. He's won the games. He won it 3 years in a row. Then last year, we know he had some health complications and actually placed 12th, but hoping to get back up on top of that podium. And I think this is an event that he can do really well with. He
told our broadcast partner, Jeremy Austin, that he wasn't feeling that great yesterday, but we both thought that he looked fantastic.
I thought that he looked really, really good. If that's an indication of how he will do today, I think he's in fine shape.
Again, Powell sitting in 2nd after the first day of competition. And then here's Swanson, where he is our overall leader. And for him, after the first day, it was pretty busy for these guys. What's going through his mind?
Well, you know, like you said, he had 3 events yesterday. He had a 2nd place finish in event number 1, a 7th place finish, and then a 5th place finish, respectively, in events 2 and 3. But I think that for these athletes, especially him, this being his first games, I think it's really going to come down to that recovery. They had a lot of work that they did yesterday. How well did they recover coming into day 2? That question will be answered with this next event.
Again, that is Swanson. He is our overall leader after day 1 of the competition. He was first in the Open worldwide in the 55-59 age group. Let's pause for the start.
Stand by.
Day 2 underway for the 55-59 Masters Men division here at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. Rope and yoke event number 4 of the competition. Starting off with a 300-meter run before they make their way to the rope climb.
And it is only a 300-meter run, so it's relatively short compared to what these guys are doing day in and day out in their training. So expect this run to go pretty fast. I think they'll set a pretty quick pace on this first run, and then we'll see how fast they can jump onto those rope climbs. And there'll be some jockeying, Ted, on these runs, but I think that as in the later rounds of this event, you're going to see this become more of an active recovery time for them. They'll be shaking out the arms, trying to stretch those legs out. Obviously, complete the run as quickly as possible, but yet recover for those rope climbs.
We saw John Gary heading in to North Park first after the run. Everybody making their way back to the rope climb.
And this is where I think this event is really going to be won or lost. It's going to be on this rope climb. How efficient can you be, and how quick can you get up and down that rope? So I'm saying attack that rope. Once you get in from the run, no hesitation. Jump right on the rope. Don't take a lot of time in between each rope climb, and don't take a lot of time to rest there. You see Will Powell trying to get his feet as high up on that rope as he can as he clinches that rope. You want to turn this into a leg exercise more than an upper body pulling exercise. So he is taking a lot of time to reset there. His rope climbs are efficient, but boy, those are valuable seconds as he's standing on the ground looking at the rope.
Again, that's Powell we're looking at as he makes his way to the yoke portion.
300 pounds on that yoke. They've got to carry it 44 feet. We measured the athletes yesterday, so they got to establish the height in which they wanted their yoke. And you want to take short, choppy steps on that yoke, Ted. The last thing you want to do is take big, long steps and get those arms, those long arms on that yoke swinging, because if it hits the ground, boy, it really puts you off balance, and then you got to reset, and that takes time.
We saw Swanson right in the thick of things as the athletes make their way back to another 300-meter run. 3 minutes, 20 seconds gone by. 20-minute cap. And this is Gary, followed by Aiken, making their way back into the arena. For a report on Jeffrey Christie, let's go down to Nick Zielinski on the competition floor. Well, I thought we had Nick, but maybe we don't, as we get a look at Gary now.
Yeah, and this is his first games, so we don't know a lot about this athlete in a competition setting, but he's doing really well on these rope climbs. I like to see how he's taking big chunks out of that rope, standing up straight and tall, and reaching for his next pull.
This is Gary we're taking a look at. But let's send it down to the floor now for a report on Christie from Nick Zielinski.
Let's try this again, guys. Jeffrey Christie, third place overall, making his first appearance. It's a very tight race in the Smashers division with only 20 points separating first through fourth so far. And like I said, focusing on Jeffrey Christie, making his first appearance, he just added a CrossFit coach in October of 2017. So it's been less than a year he's been working with a coach. Obviously, it's working. And this guy's also a cardiac thoracic surgeon. So what he does is real life, incredibly hard. This has got to be a walk in the park, literally walking the yoke, a walk in the park for Jeffrey Christie. He's kind of the guy to watch for me. Obviously, all eyes on Will Powell, but Jeffrey Christie, third place coming into today, currently third in this rope and yoke event.
Yeah, I would imagine, Justin, this is a little bit less stressful than his day job.
Yeah. It's interesting when you say, hey, I'm going to go compete at the CrossFit Games, and it's a break from your everyday job, right?
Right. 5 minutes, 40 seconds gone by here in the rope and yoke. Event number 4 of the Masters men's competition here of the 55-59 age group. Taking a look at Aiken now. Shannon Aiken in the lead. He was 8th after day number 1.
And I would think this would be an event that would play well to his strengths as well. He won this age division last year at the games, Shannon did. And look at him shaking those arms out as he's running, getting that grip ready. And I don't think that this is really a grip-intensive workout. But yeah, you want to be ready as you get on that next rope climb.
towards the end, after the runs and the climbs and the yoke carries, where are they feeling it the most, the core or in their arms?
Well, if they're doing the rope climbs correctly with proper technique, they shouldn't be too taxed on the upper body. They are doing some pulling, but relative to the other two movements that they're doing in this triplet, I don't think that it's necessarily taxing them. They will be feeling it in their core, though. You're correct there. There's a lot more core than what you think on the rope climb. There's a lot more core involved than what you think on the yoke carry too. So bringing those feet up close to the hands, taking big chunks out of that rope climb, it's a little bit like a toes to bar. So yeah, it is taxing your core a little bit.
Again, Aiken looking to defend that title in this age group from 2017. He was third in the Open worldwide in the 55-59 division.
See how at the top he started getting, fatigue set in. So the bites that he was taking with his feet weren't as high up because he wasn't able to bring his feet up as high as he wanted to. So he had to have more pulls there at the end. That's what you want to try to avoid when it comes to rope climbs. You don't want to do the little inchworm thing. You want to take as big a chunks as you can so you have less pulls on each rope climb.
This is Aiken in the lead right now in event number 4, rope and yoke. He was 8th entering day 2 of the competition. This is John Gary.
And John needs a good event. Coming into day 2 in 19th place in the overall race. So an event win here would earn him 100 points. That'll help him jump ahead of some of those other guys that are higher up on the leaderboard than he is.
So it's back to the run for Gary and Aiken.
You see John Gary shaking those arms out a little bit.
Nine minutes and 10 seconds in. Let's take a look at Idler now. He was 5th after day number 1.
Yeah, this is his 4th games, so we've seen him compete a lot. He's an experienced competitor, and yeah, that is taxing that core. You see him take a second to reset, set that thing down, regroup, strengthen that core, take that deep breath, fill the vacuum or fill the cylinder like they say in Olympic lifting, and continue his march down the field with that yoke.
That's Vandervoort right there. He was 11th in this division last year. This is Jarvis now, 13th entering the day. And here's Aiken, our leader in event number 4, making his way back into the North Park.
And Ted, Shannon Aiken won event number 3 yesterday. So another event win here is huge, not only for the standings on the leaderboard, but just mentally knowing, hey, I just won the last 2 events. I'm on a roll here. He'll come in confident into that next round if he can stay in the lead. And man, that's setting up his competition really well, doing exactly what he wants to do.
So Justin, it looked like he tapped a metal plate there, but he went back up for a retouch.
Yeah, he must have missed it. And I think those rope climbs are starting, that fatigue is setting in. We saw him in the last portion of his rope climb on that last round where he's taking small chunks. And he kind of was doing that again, even to the point where he missed that cross beam.
So Aiken, his final carry.
Yeah, doing a really good job keeping the bottom of that yoke parallel to the ground and even, not swinging around very much, using those short, choppy steps and coming in first.
The event win for rope and yoke goes to Aiken. Here's Powell. So Powell just a couple steps ahead. And he'll come in second here in event number 4. There's John Gary. He's across.
Yeah, I think you look at this event on paper, and what stands out, right, is the rope climbs. That's what jumps out at you, but I think that the little hidden thing in there is it's crushing your core.
Idler's in just over 12 minutes.
Oh, still got to raise to the finish and touch that chest piece.
Keegan in lane 18 just a little bit ahead of what we saw from Bubba Hagood. "12 minutes and 40 seconds gone by, 20-minute time cap here. Event number 4 for the men's Masters 55-59 division, the rope and yoke. Going to look at Eric Jarvis now, entered the day in 13th. And Jarvis is in.
Now, obviously, it's going to be really important for these athletes to take some time between now and the next event that they've got coming up later today and really try to recover.
13:35 gone by, 20-minute cap. Six minutes remain.
Jeff Christie there, came in 3rd place overall, just finishing up his last run.
So definitely we're going to see some changes on the leaderboard after this first event here on day number 2 of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games.
Yeah, I would anticipate with Christie's finish here, that'll drop him down quite a bit on that leaderboard after coming into day number 2 in 3rd place.
And this is Christie approaching his final rope climb. Just this climb and then the yoke carry for Christie. All that remains.
Now, it looked like he had a little trouble setting his feet and getting that pinch just right. And it looked like he slid just a little bit on a few of those, which didn't allow him to stand up straight and tall and cover as much room or as much space on the rope as possible.
Just over 4 minutes remain. Christie on his final yoke carry. And he completes event number 4.
And Gus Vandervoort on his last round on the run. We only have a few athletes left to finish this event under that time cap. Gus Vandervoort there in the white shirt, the last athlete to finish this last run. Robert Boshoven. No problem with that yoke carry.
None whatsoever. So Boshoven comes in right about 17 minutes. With just under 3 minutes remain as Vandervoort comes on. Of course, Vandervoort competing in his second games. One last climb for Vandervoort.
You see Gus trying to shake those hands out. You know, I think Ted, and this is just me coming from a coaching perspective, but he knows that he's in last place in this event, but he's still approaching that time cap. And I think it's really important for an athlete, just from a mental side of things, to be able to finish an event under the time cap. If for nothing else, just to have the mental confidence and mental strength to come into event number 5 and do well.
And so Vandervoort approaches his final yoke carry, but he's got a crowd there to support him, Justin.
Yeah, that's one thing that I love seeing with these events is the other competitors coming on to cheer on their fellow competitors, helping them get across that finish line.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gus
And Vandervoort comes in. So that wraps it up for event number 4 for the Masters Men's 55-59 competition. And that is Aiken. He is our event winner, 11:13.69, and he just looked very solid. So after Aiken came Will Powell. Another strong event for him. John Gary, Stuart Swanson, Brink Edwards, Tom Famery, Ken Idler, Bubba Hagood, Ken Olausen, and John Bush rounding out the top 10. For Shannon Aiken, that's going to be a big move for him as he was 8th entering the day, but he is carrying momentum. And now let's send it down to Nick Salinski on the floor, who is with Shannon Aiken.
Shannon Aiken, not the best start to your week, those first 2 events, but the last 2 events, 2 event wins. What changed between events 2 and 3?
Well, as far as my strength is not the heavyweights. These guys are far better. And I learned handstand walking during the qualifiers, so I think I was a little disadvantaged in those 2, but these last 2 were tailored for me.
Very much so, 2 first-place finishes. You're the defending champion. How do you rely on last year's experience to carry you through today and the rest of the weekend?
Well, as anybody that's been the champion here, you know what it takes to win, and you try to get that mindset back that you had the prior year.
Shannon Aiken, go get some rest. Congratulations on the event win.
Thanks a lot.
So Shannon Aiken comes into the day in 8th after winning the final event of a day number 1 and starts off with an event win here in day number 2 and has put himself in a good position going forward. So Shannon Aiken with another good showing. We also saw Will Powell. He came 2nd here in this event, and you're going to be wanting to keep an eye on those 2 all throughout the competition, as well as Stuart Swanson. So things kind of played out somewhat to how we expected them, but it was really Shannon Aiken making that big move and going from 8th to the top of this event number 4 for 2 straight event wins. That's setting the stage for what's going to be a fun competition over the rest of the weekend. We're going to take a break, but we've got more action coming up next with the men's 60 and over.